In today's episode, you're not a team player? As you wish. No refunds, no exchange at store policy. So let's get started. You're not a team player? As you wish. This story is a couple years old, and like many things on the internet, you wait for the heat to die off to reduce the chance of recognition by the parties involved. I've seen a lot of malicious compliance posts against managers. This is one of a manager complying with employee demands. I was leading a team of technicians that included an on-call component. Every 4 to 6 weeks it was your turn on the roster to carry the phone and be available 24/7. You could live your life normally, but we advise techs not to plan a family event they can't leave unexpectedly, or a weekend trip more than an hour or two away from the office while on call. If you wanted to change the schedule, you needed a colleague to volunteer to swap. The roster was generated a few months in advance, and we had a very firm rule after being burned a couple times: no change is permanent until it's confirmed in the schedule, meaning myself or my supervisors has received a written confirmation from both parties. People have a tendency to change plans, so we made sure the team knew the bare minimum was an email from both techs agreeing to the change. Then we update the schedule, then it is locked in stone. There are a few players to this melodrama. Me, the manager of all the teams in the area. My supervisor for Bob's team, Henry. The tech receiving malicious compliance, Bob, and the young tech who got screwed out of a weekend, Jim. Jim wants to attend a concert on a weekend he's scheduled to be on call. Jim successfully convinces Bob over lunch to swap with him and sends us an email to confirm. Very important to note that Henry and a few others are eating lunch with them. Henry hears the whole conversation. Bob does not reply with his acceptance, so there's no changes made at that time and everyone goes home for the day. When Bob eventually came clean, I learned what happened next. Bob mentions to his wife that evening the week on call he will swap with Jim. Bob's wife is not happy with this, and points out she wants to see her mother that weekend, so she demands he swaps back. Normally, if Bob had confirmed the change, it would be 100% his job to find a volunteer to take over, but Bob realizes he never agreed via email, so decides to play sneaky. He was a bit of a macho kind of guy, so I think a lot of what happened next was based on avoiding the appearance of his wife telling him what to do. The next day Bob responds in writing that actually there was not an agreement and he wouldn't take the shift. Taking everyone by surprise is the fact he didn't frame it as actually I can't take that shift, but instead went with Jim as lying, I never said that. Jim is upset he'll miss his concert, but per the rules, he is out of luck. There's suddenly tension in the office and techs taking sides between Bob and Jim. Not a great situation for esprit de corps, so it's time for management to get involved. Henry wants to handle it, but he's a bit too riled up, so I pull Bob aside instead. I ask Bob what's going on, hint that multiple people have upheld Jim's version of events. Is there something we can do here to ease the tension? I'm asking you to be a team player here and come clean for me. You don't have to take the shift, but I don't like when techs are mudslinging each other. No, says Bob, Jim is a liar and the rest of them must have heard it wrong, or they're lying too. I never agreed to this, and I don't want to be a team player with these liars. You don't want to be a team player, is that right? Yes. I'm just going to look out for myself since I can't trust these young guys on the team like Jim. Whatever you say, Bob. Cue the malicious compliance. For the rest of the year, every time Bob needed a hand, he was left hanging, within reason. I'm not risking my own performance numbers here. Difficult job that would be easier with two? Sorry Bob, all the older team members are scheduled elsewhere. You'll have to do it alone since you don't trust these younger techs. Bob wants a hand moving some equipment to the delivery van? Sorry, the team is busy with other tasks. I'm sure you can handle it solo. Bob got the picture pretty quick that severing himself from the team was a bad idea, but from stubbornness or machismo he stuck it out and refused to come clean or stop glaring at the newer team members. Evidently, to preserve his version of events, he had to maintain an air of distrust for the younger techs, or he just blamed them collectively, I don't know. That carried on until end-of-year reviews came around. In our office you could pick a few personal objectives, and this was a great way to get a good review even if we had a bad year. For example, some people set educational goals and got a new certificate or two in the company e-learning portal which, if achieved, would lift their average performance score. Bob in his infinite wisdom had listed a few personal objectives that were remarkably social in nature. Teamwork was one. Sharing knowledge with new team members was another. These were pretty good objectives for an older, more experienced tech who could lend a hand to teammates and get some positive feedback to show his bosses by the end of the year. These were not good objectives to have when you have very clearly stated you are not a team player and have been working almost completely solo for half the year. The fallout. Bob took a pretty big hit on his performance scores that year. It lowered his bonus by a few $100 and for the first time in years there were no glowing reviews by colleagues that he could use to his advantage, not to mention his own words being thrown back in his face on all his personal objectives. I had Henry signal me quietly as the meeting was winding down so I could drop by and add my 2 cents. To a very crestfallen Bob I asked, "Still feeling like you don't want to be a team player, Bob? We missed your old self these past few months." Bob takes a moment to respond and then starts laughing. He shakes his head a bit and answers, "You're right, I do miss being a team player. Things got a little out of hand. I think I'll focus on that for next year." I told him I was glad to hear it, gave a wink to Henry, and their meeting continued in a much more positive note after I left. The whole saga had taken 6 months, but in the end, Bob apologized to Henry for lying. The next week Bob took Jim out for lunch, and he spent the next year being the absolute gold star example of a team player. I spent some political capital arguing with HR, and was able to give him a raise at his next review in recognition of his efforts. No refunds, no exchange at store policy. Not sure if this story is even good enough to be here, but I'll give it a shot. A story on my malicious compliance that happened earlier today. Also on mobile, so apologies if the formatting is wonky. Today, my mom, 60F, and I, 26F, went off to this hardware store in Canada that not only sells hardware goods, but also automobile goods, garden things, small home appliances, and kitchen stuff, like pots and pans. My mom needed to return a defective pan she bought almost 90 days ago. I told my mom that we might not be able to get a full refund, but let's go to the customer service section to ask what our options were. So off we went. She went straight to the customer service area, and she seemed like she was going to be alright, so I told her I would browse around the store. 10 to 15 minutes has passed, and she hasn't called/texted saying she was done, so I got concerned and went back to the customer service area. When I got there, I could see my mom visibly upset, and that a customer service employee was shaking her head and dismissing my mom. We'll call that customer service employee Hannah, early to mid-20s. My mom saw me and started walking towards me and just told me that Hannah was being very rude, condescending, and overall disrespectful to her. I asked her what happened and the conversation were as follows. "Mom, hi, I would like to return or exchange this pan since there is a scratch here when I opened it since I was going to use it this one time." Hannah, no refunds or returns on opened items. It is store policy. Mom, well, I wouldn't know if the product would be defective if I don't open the packaging. Hannah rolls her eyes, widens her eyes to talk to my mom as if she was talking to a little kid that doesn't understand English. No returns or refunds. Mom, well, this is clearly a defective product. I was going to use it but noticed the defect. Hannah, but you have opened it and is not unopened and cannot be returned/refunded as per store policy. Mom, but I haven't used it once. Hannah, eyes getting wide again and talking down to my mom as if she was scolding her like a child. No refunds on open packages. Do you just want to speak to my manager? Mom, yes please. Manager, hi, we can do an exchange for you since it is still in resaleable condition. Hannah, but it has to be of equal or lesser value. Or else I am going to charge you for the difference. With her eyes all wide and sh*t as per store policy. Mom, okay, I will go look for another pan. At this point, she has finished telling me what happened, and I am livid for someone talking to my mom like this. So we were now browsing for another pan that was of equal or lesser value. I took a look at the receipt and mentioned to my mom that since she bought the pan on sale for $39.99, originally $139, she needed to find one of equal or lesser value. We saw the same pan, but it wasn't on super sale anymore since it was now $59.99. My mom said that it was fine, she'll pay the $20 difference since she really likes the pan. I urged her to look for something of equal or lesser value, since this sh*t store doesn't deserve my mother's money. So while she was looking, I noticed that the original pan she liked has written in bold size 1000 font lifetime warranty on the packaging. So I reviewed the back of the receipt to look at the store policy. Store policy is the following. Unopened items, with a receipt, in original packaging and returned within 90 days of purchase will receive a refund to the original method of payment, or will receive an exchange. Items that are opened, damaged and are not in resaleable condition may not be eligible for a refund or exchange. Exceptions include, returns, exchanges or warranties on an item without a receipt may not be accepted. A defective item is subject to the manufacturer's warranty, and will be repaired or replaced. And lo and behold, the smoking gun. Exceptions include, a defective item is subject to the manufacturer's warranty, and will be repaired or replaced. I explained to my mom that she doesn't need to pay the $20 difference, and she can just get it replaced as per store policy. She was super hesitant and wasn't sure it was going to work, and insisted she will just find a pan worth $39.99. I said, Mama, I love you and I am a wreck this *tch today. My mom laughed and she sent me to talk to Hannah. Hannah makes eye contact with me and the pan and doesn't say next in line. Me just walks up since she was just staring at me. Hi. Were you helping my mom earlier about the pan? Hannah rolls eyes. Me, from my understanding, she wanted a refund, right? Hannah, yeah. Me, okay cool, so I talked to her, and we just want to get a replacement pan then. No need for a full refund. Hannah, okay. Where's the pan? Me, we don't have it, my mom left it here with you. Hannah looks around, well it's not here, I can't do the transaction without the pan. So you have the pan? Me, I can assure you, and if you would like to review the CCTVs, we do not have the pan, smiley face. Hannah then gets angry and yells for her coworker to look for the pan. In front of multiple customers. After 5 minutes, they found the stupid defected pan. Hannah, okay, but she bought this for $39.99, and is now $59.99. So I will charge you $20 difference plus tax. Me, well, since the pan has a lifetime warranty, and that your store policy clearly states that a defective item is subject to the manufacturer's warranty, and will be repaired or replaced. I would just like it to get replaced since repairing this pan is nearly impossible. Hee. Hannah, shocked Pikachu face, but Me, as per store policy. Finn, with our new pan. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.